And good morning, everybody. Mikeylito here, and welcome to Live After Midnight. We're only going to be on for like a half an hour tonight, and basically, I'm only doing the stream because I'm up. I'm up to watch episode 3 of Moon Knight, and it'll be very interesting to see what episode 3 is. I had planned on doing a stream on Tuesday evening. I think Tuesday is the night that I want to stream every week, and but I decided that I needed to do a script, and so I wrote a script. I have the script right here. Um, and you can see the number one thing on the script, other than saying hello, is talking about Moon Knight. So I figured it didn't make a whole lot of sense to do a show later in the week and talk about episode 3, what's coming up when episode 3 is coming up tonight. So I just figured since I'm up, I will talk about episodes 1, 2, and 3 right now. So as far as I'm concerned, tonight is a make or break night for Moon Knight. Episode 1 and 2 have been visually interesting as far as I'm concerned. But see, I'm a general audience member. I'm not a comic book reader. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. I'm not a comic book reader. So I don't really know anything about the Moon Knight characters, about the character I'm taking out from the series. And as far as I'm concerned, there's not really enough information for general audience members to understand what is going on in this series. Now, that's not to say that I don't understand what's going on in the series because I've listened to discussions of other people, so I can kind of follow along with what's going on. But the exposition of that somebody that's just tuning into Disney Plus to watch the show, I don't really think that the show has been provided. So, like I said, it's been visually interesting. There's been a lot of action set pieces in the show, but I don't really know where it goes from here. So now reviewers got preview episodes 1 through 3. Some got episodes 1 through 4, and we got really glowing reviews from these reviewers that have the preview episodes. Well, tonight's episode 3. So now the general audience gets to catch up with the reviewers and the previewers. And so we get to see what they have seen. And so I really need to know what direction this series is headed at the end of tonight's episode. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to watch it all the way through. But the way things stand for me right now, I really feel like this is a series that I should have waited till all 6 episodes were out and then just binged it from start to finish, a little bit like Loki, because I really don't know what direction that the series is headed in. The performances by Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke have been fantastic. I have no complaints about the acting. I'm just a little concerned with what the schedule is. What the schedule, not what the schedule, what the story is going to look like at the end of this episode. So we have about 25 minutes before the episode premieres at the top of the hour on Disney Plus, which is 3 a.m. in the East in the United States and midnight on the West Coast. So later on this week, I don't know exactly when I'm going to do it, uh, but I'm going to do a stream with some reviews on 5 different films and some prep for a film that's opening this weekend. Like I said, I've written a script, so I've written reviews for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Ambulance, and The Lost City. I still have reviews for Morbius and The Batman that I have to complete. So I'll be working on those tomorrow. And maybe the stream will be recorded, maybe it will be live. I don't really know, but that's the plan. one of the things that kept me from finishing it tonight was I had really no idea that the Post Geek Singularity channel was dropping an interview that I did with RM. I believe it was last September. I'm pretty sure it was last September because it was in advance of when the documentary "My Name Is Paulie Murray" premiered. but the interesting thing about that to me was that right at the beginning of the interview, I was talking about how you needed to do prep in order to do a show, and and that's what I was doing when I got a message that the show had dropped. So it was kind of interesting that came up. So I'm going to stick to that. I'm not going to talk about any of the things that I had planned for that stream until later in the week. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. Now, one of the things that I did last Tuesday while I was bopping about town seeing my doctor was that I stopped into the local comic books. The camera's over there, Mike. At the local comic book store. Excuse me while I take a sip of coffee. I need that to stay awake. So, never been in a comic book store in my life. I made a comment to a couple of people that when I was growing up, you used to go to the local drugstore or the local candy store in order to pick up comic books. Uh, Sometimes you would find them in the magazine rack at the supermarket. Not too often, but comic book store I've never been in my life. And there is a local comic book store in the town that I live in called Lost Planet Comics and Collectibles. It's at 65 East Main Street in Bayshore, New York. And so I stopped in there last Tuesday and I picked up this. I don't know. I got camera and coffee here and what have you. Oh, there's that phrase again. What have you? Black Panther. This is a book version of the series that was written by Reginald Hudlin, John Romita Jr., Klaus Janson, and Dean White. And I haven't started reading it yet because I wanted to kind of keep it in pristine condition to show on the PGS member call. And the PGS member call didn't happen last Saturday, but it's coming up this Saturday. So I haven't really started reading it yet. I want to keep it pristine, but I'm eager to dive into it. I know it has absolutely, well, I'm fairly certain it has absolutely nothing to do with the upcoming film that premieres in November. But I would just like to see how the comics compare to what we've been presented with in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it'll be kind of interesting to see where that goes. And one of the things that I learned is that coming up on Saturday, on the first Saturday in May, is Free Comic Book Day. And this is something that apparently comic book stores do every year. And it's not you go in and you pick up like whatever comic that you want and what have you. They have comics that they produce for that event, and you can go in and pick up one of the comics. So, what is the first Saturday in May? I don't have my calendar handy. Give me 1 second. And we're 19 minutes away from episode 3. So I'm looking forward to that. The first Saturday in May is May 1st. Amazing. No, I'm sorry. May 7th. May 1st is a Sunday. So May 7th at your local comic book store, support your local comic book store. It's Free Comic Book Day. You can go in and pick up one of the free comic books that they have for you, and look around and see what else they have at your local comic book store. It'll be quite interesting. I kind of enjoyed my little trip, and I plan to go back. I asked the owner if I could record in the store, so I may be doing that in the near future, and we can take a look at what my local comic book store looks like. One of the other things that's coming up toward the end of the week is the premiere of Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. It is the third in a series of Fantastic Beasts films. And it previews on Thursday. I have my tickets already for the IMAX showing at my local IMAX theater. So I will probably be doing an out of the theater review on that film immediately after. So I'm doing a matinee showing. So around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the East is when you can look for that, which let's see, that's 22:30 UTC for any global viewers that we might have, and you can see what I think of that film. I'm prepping for that film, and you can do the same by watching the first 2 films in the Fantastic Beasts series. Number 1 is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which takes place in the city of New York. And the second film is Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. I think I said that right. Both of the films are streaming. You have 2 streaming services that you can check out, either HBO Max or Peacock Premium for those series. So if you're interested in Fantastic Beasts and the third in that third show, the third film in that series, that will be previewing on Thursday and released on Friday. There's a question in the chat: when is Moon Knight episode 3 going to be released? And that's in 15 minutes on Disney Plus. So We are not that far away. I'm not sticking around. I'm just hanging out to keep myself awake until the show comes on, and then I'm going to sit there and watch it. And like I said earlier, as far as I'm concerned, tonight is make or break night. I've enjoyed watching the series, but I still contend that as a general audience member, unless you have like tons of friends that read the comic books, you don't really have any idea of what's going on in the series. Now, I do, like as I said earlier, I do know what's going on, but that's only because I'm surrounded by people who read comic books. When I saw the very first episode and I'm hearing voices in the guy's head, I didn't know whether I was like watching a Venom rerun or or whatever, what was going on. And that really still hasn't been explained to anybody that hasn't read the comics. So we'll see what happens after episode 3 tonight. Like I said earlier, uh, all the reviewers who got 3 preview episodes and gave glowing reviews, they had 3 episodes to base their opinions on. Uh, we've been getting dribs and drabs like 1 hour every week, and I'm really thinking that this would have is a series that would have been better binged than trying to watch week after week after week. But we'll see what happens with that, and that's happening 13 minutes from now. So we have someone in the chat, random stuff, who says he has multiple personality disorder, and yes, I understand that, but the voice isn't him. So if you didn't realize that, that's not a voice that's talking to. He's not talking to himself. It's actually an external Egyptian god that is talking to him, but that hasn't been explained to us in the series. That the only reason that I know that is, again, like I said, we're surrounded by people who read the comics, and they know that it was an Egyptian god. We don't. We, as just somebody that's watching the show, we don't know that. So it's interesting that the way that they have developed the show, but they haven't really explained itself really well. But I like mystery, so I'm fine with that. Uh, Nabil says it's Khonshu, and yes, I know that, but only from watching the credits. They haven't really explained who Khonshu is. And if they have, maybe I need to go back and watch it again, but I don't really think so. I've been paying pretty close attention to what's been going on. So we got just a little over 10 minutes left to go before it comes on. So get your TVs ready, whatever little drinks that you. They've talked about Khonshu multiple times. When did that happen? Oh, there's my buddy. Hey, Groucho, how you doing, man? I haven't really seen them. Well, actually, they did talk about him in the last episode. About I think Ethan Hawke's character was saying like, "What is he saying to you now? Don't listen to him." Blah blah blah, etc. etc. But what I was really talking about was in the first episode. What is that, Paul? Beers? Yeah, I could use one. No, beers isn't really going to help me. This will help me. This is coffee. So when they were talking about the lentil soup and everything last week and what have you, yes, they were talking about Conchu. But what I'm saying is, in the first episode, when the voice just started appearing, they really didn't explain who that voice was. So, yeah. Yeah, Mr. Knight was kind of fun. He, I'm trying to figure out whether that was something that he did deliberately or he did accidentally. I tend to believe that uh, it was done accidentally, uh, but I'm pretty sure that we'll get more on that this week. Uh, I think I've been doing a little bit of reading where some people have questioned whether or not the third personality of this guy has been introduced yet, and they just haven't told us. But I'm pretty sure we'll see that tonight. So I'm very tired. It's been a very long day. Paul, I was telling anyone that was watching earlier that I've been prepping for a stream that I was going to do, and part of the stream was about. Uh, oh, the episode's already posted. Let me check, because if it is, I'm gonna bail. Just let me log in real quick and see what's going on. La da da da. Episode one, two, yes, it is there. 53, episode three, the friendly type. So everybody, grab your television sets, your computers, your telephones, whatever you use to watch the episode, because it's on right now. And if it's on, I'm going to go watch it and I'm going to sign off here. So thanks to Groucho, my friend Paul in Long Beach, and to everybody else who tuned in. I will see you later. I doubt whether I'll be back after the show, but you never know. Maybe it'll interest me so much that I might show up. But until then, let me just say bye bye.